Hello guys, I haven't been live in a long time, so I figured I'd come live and make an awesome arrowhead out of some really cool blue glass. It's going to be in a dovetail style. If you guys have questions about what I'm doing, feel free to ask. Alright, so here it goes. We'll make a dovetail style arrowhead out of this. The tool that I'm using is called an Ishi stick. And this has got some really cool pattern in it, and I'll show you once I get this stuff cleared off here. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes not so much. If you have questions, ask away. So you can kind of, we got some really cool blue lines that's going to go through here. Some of the pieces I make into necklaces, yeah. I haven't really made any specifically for necklaces lately. Thanks, I appreciate it, Ethan. Reptiles and rocks, that's what it's all about with this channel. Almost can see. Let me finish this last side and you'll see the cool blue line that's going through this. Alright. It's got a really cool blue line going through. Yeah, I use, not bone, but I use antler. And it works just as well. It just isn't as easily replaced. This is going to be cool. I can already tell. Hello. Yep, you got to start somewhere. And the best piece, because most people ask once they come in, they say they're just starting. The best piece of advice I can offer is just don't give up. You're going to mess stuff up. You're going to break stuff. That's just a part of flint knapping. So don't get discouraged if you're having a rough day, a rough week. Sometimes the rock just doesn't cooperate. I don't just nap glass. I nap all kinds of stuff. I just happened to find this cool piece of glass preform that I made and wanted to nap it. But I've got tons of stuff. Got some Sonora flint. Let's see what else we got. That's a piece of coral, fossilized coral. This is spiderweb obsidian. Horse Creek chert. Oh. Phone fell. Flint Ridge flint. So I got all kinds of different material. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. I know I kind of repeat the same stuff a lot, but it's because we have such a high turnover. So many new people come and show up, and I want to make sure everybody knows what's going on. I am currently making an arrowhead out of a piece of glass. This is going to be a dovetail style, which is one of my favorites. As long as it doesn't break, that's what we're going for. I shall try not to bleed. Can't promise that won't happen, but the technique I'm using is called pressure flaking. Same technique natives would have used, except they would have used an antler for this process. And I use antler too. It's just easier to sharpen copper and just more efficient. There's really not much difference in using either one. I've been making them, I'm somewhere around 2 years now. So I'm still, I don't know, I kind of consider myself a rookie still, you know. Flint napping like this is kind of a old man's hobby. There's not a whole lot of young people that are into it, which is one reason I'm here. I'm hoping to change that. Get more people excited and learn this new technique, because God knows when the zombie apocalypse comes, we're going to need to be having to make our own arrowheads and weapons, so that's why I'm here. This is going to be an arrowhead made out of glass. You see that cool blue line? That cool blue line that's going through it. What I'm doing now is called abrading, where I take a grinding wheel that's been cut and I use it to sharpen up, or to roughen up the edges so your tool sticks better. It's not definitely not the easiest hobby to get into and learn how to do. But it's not the most difficult. It's easy to do in theory, but difficult to do to do well. So what I'm doing now is just working on thinning the piece down to the thickness that I want. Hello. So it's going pretty well so far. Only a couple little problem areas, but I should be able to get through those and make them look nice. Almost got this side as thin as I want it. After this next pass, this side will be done and I'll start working on the cutting edge. Thank you for the roses there that are still coming. Oh, my phone almost dropped again. Okay, so this side's the thickness that I'd like. This side is thicker, so I'll work on thinning this side down now. Thank you, Raffen Baker. All right, let's work on thinning this side. Aw, fiddlesticks. No! It broke. But that's okay. By the end of this, you'll never know that it broke. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Especially with glass, because glass is pretty fragile stuff. But it was close enough to the top that I'll be able to fix it. Rock easier. In some aspects it is. So, it's less likely to break like this one just did, but it's also harder to send longer flakes. Like this is a piece of Horse Creek chert. So this stuff, you can see me kind of chipping at it pretty easily. When I'm working a piece of Horse Creek, it's much harder, so I really got to put a lot of effort into it. So it's harder in some aspects because it's harder to actually do the physical act of chipping. But it's easier because it doesn't break quite as easy. So that's kind of a little bit of almost trick question to answer. It is usually pretty relaxing, I'll give you that. Sorry, my phone keeps falling. Linda Bonita. I don't know what the last two words are, but thanks, I guess. Okay, so that's what we're working with now. Still got the cool blue line going through. No, I have not heard of those tools. So now what I'm going to do is work on the cutting edge. So this is the flipping and chipping. So you take a chip and then you flip it. And the reason why I do that is so that I can keep the line, the cutting edge, in the center of the piece. If I just take them from one side, it'll move that cutting edge to the wrong side, and you don't want that. So we flip and we chip. This is called a hand pad. So this is what you're talking about, I believe. This is a hand pad. It's made of rubber, and I have I cut an extra. It has a channel, and then I cut an extra channel out of it. It's kind of hard to see, but I cut an extra channel out of it so that the flakes travel more. I have other hand pads that are they've been through the ringer, like this one. You can see the hole in this. It's a huge piece here. How much did what cost? The hand pad? You can find all the tools you need on a website called gonapping.com. KNAPPING, gonapping.com. And they have a deluxe beginner's kit, and it's perfect. It's not overly expensive, and it's just enough for you to get some tools and see if it's something that you like. And if it is, then you can upgrade and get nicer stuff. But yeah, just a rubber hand pad. And this one, I don't think I got this from gonapping.com. I think this one came from flintnappingtools.com. There's lots of different hand pads out there. This is just the one that I like the most because it's the rubber's the softest, but it's still hard enough that it lasts plenty of time. But I order 5 or 6 of them at a time, and they usually last me a month or two before I have to replace them. But that's when I'm doing a whole lot of flint napping. Okay, so it's working well here. I'm working on doing the cutting edge, so let's see if I can get a good view of this. You can kind of see it's all rough and ragged now, but I will start working on that soon. So now I'll work on this broken tip. Okay, so we're getting the tip back. finish the back here. I forgot to do that. I wish this didn't tell me every time somebody followed me, because it gets rid of the comments. So if I didn't answer your question, don't get upset that I'm ignoring you. I just don't see them fast enough, and I'm reading upside down and all that. So if I didn't answer a question, feel free to ask it again. Okay, so we got it done. I'm going to abrade lightly. There we go. So that's the first step of it. It's still rough and it's still ugly. So now I'm going to work on making it a little bit better. They usually take, something this size will take about 30 to 45 minutes. A lot of it depends on how good I want to make it. You know, I could almost finish it right now just putting a couple notches in it, and it would look good enough for most people. But I'm going to work on really making this edge nice and thin, and much more uniform. I'll do one side, and then I'll show you the two sides so you can see what the difference is in finishing a piece and just making a piece. Okay, so this side, you can see if I can get a good view of it now. So see how thin and straight that side is, the cutting edge portion of it. You should definitely wear glasses. I wear glasses, so I have glasses on, but I don't wear safety glasses specifically. So this side looks nice, right? And this side is much more rough and crazy and ugly looking. So you can finish a piece with a side that looks like this, but I prefer to make it nice and neat. And this side's not even done yet. It's still not quite perfect. I'm making an arrowhead, to the person that just asked that. Okay, so this is a notcher. So this is a pressure flaker. This is a notcher. I have another notcher here too. This is another notcher that I have. This is actually what I use generally for making the notches that go into the base of it, but I also use it for precision work like this, where I want to take smaller little chips out instead of big ones. Okay, so that size looks good. Okay, so that side is much better. Looks great. If I can get it to focus downward. There you go. See how nice and straight? Turn it there. That's what I'm looking at. This is a piece of glass. It's got a really cool blue lines that go down it. Yes, this is going to be an arrowhead. It's not quite finished yet. I would consider this to be a pre-form. So I did one side looks good. Look, you can see how nice and straight and even that is. And this other side over here looks ugly. So now I'll work on the other side. So I've thinned out the piece, I've shaped the piece. Now I'm working on the edge, the cutting edge of the piece. I make a couple passes of really specifically placed chips. and that makes the piece much more uniformed. This is a piece of glass. When I make necklaces, I just wire wrap them, so I just make sure I have a notch that is acceptable to use for wire wrapping, and that's pretty much all it takes. Okay, so this side comes down a little bit farther than this side, so I need to take out a little bit there. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the base. Now the base is the hardest part to get uniformed. So this might take me a little bit of time to make it right. Yeah, this is really awesome. Thank you for the roses. I wish this... Right, sorry, my phone keeps falling. Okay, so I need to fix this bottom side here. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to... I've been doing this for about 2 years now. Okay, so now it looks good, nice and uniformed. And now I'm going to put in the notches. So the notches are going to come in like this from the side of the base. It's going to leave a nice dovetail look at the bottom here. Now I'm going to use this. This is actually a new notcher. I've only used it one other time. But the one time that I did use it, I really liked it. No, not ruby, because ruby doesn't nap. In order to make an arrowhead, the material has to do something called make a conchoidal fracture. And a conchoidal fracture is when I take a chip, it gives like a semicircular look. And if the stone can't do that, then you can't make an arrowhead out of it. But one stone that's really precious that you can make arrowheads out of is opal. It's stupid expensive, so I've never worked with it, but you can make arrowheads out of opal and they look awesome. So you can see I'm starting to get the notch coming in there. Thank you for the gifts, guys. I appreciate it. So I'm having little issues with that flaker. It's a new one, so I just got to get used to it. Alright, so let's work on notching this other side here. Whoops. Kind of blew the ear off of that one, so now I have to do some reshaping. pretty good. Kind of lost the dovetail look here, but that's okay. So, yeah, I sell them. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook. Those are the easiest places to find me to buy stuff. I have a Etsy account also, but I put really expensive prices there just kind of as an experiment to see if people are willing to pay those prices. So they're much cheaper if you message me directly. Something like this piece would sell for $20 or so. If I make it into a necklace, which this is kind of big, but I could make it into a necklace, it'd be a little bit more. I wire wrap them. I do custom orders. Lots of different materials to choose from. I make knives. Do a lot of knives. Sometimes the glass doesn't notch well because it has so many random like little fractures in it. So when you try to do precision type work, you can run into issues. Alright, see if I can do this without breaking it, because this is a part where I feel it might break. Ooh. So it worked. Oh, no, that's just about perfect there. Sorry, I'm not really answering many questions right now. This is like the tedious part where I got to pay attention to it so I don't ruin the piece. Alright, so I'm going to call that it. Here we have a really cool glass arrowhead. No, I'm not native. I thought that I was. I did a DNA test that showed that I wasn't. My grandfather sat on the Chickasaw Nation the board for the Chickasaw Nation, so I assumed that I was, but apparently not. So that's it. It's done. It's reasonably sharp. I didn't really sharpen it much, but I can make them sharper. This one's not very sharp. I usually check and see, but yeah, that one's not very sharp. I use a lot of different tools. I have pressure flakers and notchers, which look like these. I have a really big one, which is called an Ishii stick. It just gives me more power. But that's about it. Okay, I'm gonna do at least one more here. This is a piece of Montana agate, and it's super thin, so this is gonna be a rough one, but I'm gonna give it a shot because it's really pretty material. Okay, I'll make another one. Yes, I make stuff out of obsidian all the time. Let's see if I have any that are done. Yeah, I got a couple. So here are a couple that are finished out of obsidian. This is a piece of Mexican rainbow obsidian. So you can see it's got really pretty blues and greens if you get it at the right angle. And this is a piece of, also a piece of Mexican rainbow obsidian. This one's green and purple. So yes, I do lots out of obsidian. This is a really awesome piece of blue spiderweb obsidian. You really can't see. If I get close, you can see all what looks like fractures. But that's just the obsidian. Yes, I sell all of them. All right. So let's work this piece of Montana agate and see how it goes. Whew, it's not working very well, so I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I don't have a lot of hopes. So I'm pushing pretty hard, and these flakes should be much larger than they are. Luckily, it's a thin piece. I really don't think this piece is going to work. Sometimes it has to be heat treated, which means it's heated up to 500 degrees or so for several hours, and it rebinds the silica inside. Yeah, this is going to be... It's hard to tell, but it's super gritty and ugly looking. Focus. Yeah, you really can't see the grit, but this is a horrible one, so yeah. No, the agate's not heat treated, that's why it's not working so well. So I'm going to find another piece here. Give me 1 second, guys, and I'll be right back with you. I'll be back in just 1 second, guys. I just got to answer the radio real quick.
6854. 6854.
Hold on. I'm almost there.
6872.
One more.
72. 6882.
82. All right. I'm coming back.
682.
Let me find a piece to work here. Okay. So I'm just trying to find a piece to work here. Not sure which one to do. You know what, I got a piece of Flint Ridge flint here. You know what? I can do Flint Ridge or Horse Creek Chert. I'll let you guys... Yeah, I'm a cop. You pick one. Flint Ridge Flint or Horse Creek Chert. It's a really poorly treated piece of Horse Creek Chert there. Flint Ridge, Horse Creek. Flint Ridge or Horse Creek Chert. I'll let you guys decide. Or I have an obsidian blade that I could make. So I'll add that in there too. Obsidian, Horse Creek, Flint Ridge. Lots of flint, lots of horse. Oh man, making it tough. Looks like it's going to be Horse Creek. It does look pretty cool. Obsidian, blade, flint, obsidian. Horse, obsidian. Well, it looks like obsidian's winning after I tossed it in. There's this little, it's a close. Horse Creek or obsidian? Horse Creek or obsidian? All right, I think obsidian takes it. So we'll do obsidian first, and then we'll work on the Horse Creek Chert after. I don't know what type of obsidian this is. So let's take some chips off of it and find out. And that sounds kind of weird, but there's lots of different types of obsidian. Depending on where it comes from can determine a lot of different colors and things like that. So I'll get the sides abraded up nicely. All right. Let's give it a shot and see what it is. All right. Let's see. I'll do one full side, and then we'll look at it and see what type it is.
to 2305.
Fucking phone, stop. Try that and see if that helps. If you guys have questions, remember, feel free to ask. Oh, I think I saw a flash of it. It's going to be a type of rainbow obsidian. So it's either going to be Davis Creek rainbow obsidian or it's going to be Jalisco Mexican obsidian. Feel free to give your guesses which one it's going to be. Is it going to be Jalisco Mexican rainbow obsidian or is it going to be Davis Creek rainbow obsidian from Davis Creek, California? Davis Creek? Oh my gosh. Oh, I know the answer now. This is one insanely awesome piece of obsidian. Holy crap. I'm going to work really hard not on breaking this one because it is gorgeous. Ah, shit. Might have to go. Traffic crash. Ah, sorry guys, I got to go. There's a crash. Check it out. I'll show you first. Mexican rainbow obsidian. Look at that bad mama jama. All right, I will be back as soon as I can, guys. Sorry.